This is the San Antonio Real Estate Show with Don Davis and Mark Harris.
Good afternoon and welcome to the San Antonio Real Estate Show here on KTSA 550 AM. My name is Mark Harris.
And my name is Don Davis.
And we're here to take your calls live this upcoming hour. If you have a phone call you'd like to talk to us, our number here is 210-599-5555. If you're out of the calling area, the number is 800-299-KTSA. And we're excited to be here once again, Don. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We had a great turnout for last week's show and got plenty of phone calls in regards to how we could constructively help our show do even better. But I mean, I love great feedback. It really lets you know not only where you are, but where you're going.
You're absolutely right. And we try to remember the reason we're doing this show is to shed a little bit of light on the subject of buying a home, financing a home. It's a scary process. It's a 30-year thing. And just people are afraid, Don.
Yeah, I understand that people are afraid. I mean, like I say, they had a reason to become a kind of hesitant after the recession, 2008, 2009. If you look at these statistics, Bexar County had right at 1,000 foreclosures per year for 2008. 1,000 foreclosures, 2009, 1,400 foreclosures, in 2010, 1,500 foreclosures. However, the light at the end of the tunnel is now we're down to only 758 foreclosures in 2013, which is very similar to where it was in 2004. So it's a sign of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, that's great. One of the things I wanted to talk about, I am in the mortgage industry. And buyers are, they get pre-qualified first, always the first step. Then they get with an agent. They go out and they look at some houses, and typically and historically people like to think about it, and it's a big deal, so they go out and they look at 4 houses. They find one they really like and they maybe want to sleep on it for a couple of days. And what I'm seeing in this market, Don, is people are having a problem with that because the market is so hot. By the time they come back tomorrow, there's already an offer or maybe 2 on there. So I wanted to briefly touch on option periods, how important they are, and how people can go ahead and put an option on there. If you could just maybe explain a little bit about the option period, how that works.
Yeah, that's a great topic, and I'm glad you brought that up. The option period is something that we have here in Texas, which allows you to go ahead and secure the property for a small amount while you do your due diligence. What that does for you is it makes it where the option money is not refundable. However, the earnest money is refundable.
And typically the option money is?
Typically $100. $100 will buy you 10 days.
Sometimes even like $50, right?
Yes.
I guess, is it based on what the purchase price of the house is?
It's an average of $10 a day, but it's not something set in stone. So if you want 5 days, if you want 10 days, it's an average of $10 a day. So $100 will give you 10 days to get the home inspected, do your due diligence, and at the same time determine whether you want to make the repairs or you want to just say no harm, no foul. I want my money back and find something else.
So, like, they normally, the earnest money be $500, $1,000, $2,000. They put up that option money if they change their mind, and they really don't have to have any reason. They could just say, I changed my mind, that's it, period. They get their earnest money back.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, we do want to play good real estate, so we do want to be fair to the sellers as well. However, we really have this period in place so you can go ahead and secure the property. What happens is now people are putting the cart before the horse. They're basically saying, hey, I want to sleep on this property, but then by the time they go back to write the offer, the property's already gone. Yeah. So if you see something you like, you go ahead and write the offer, agree to the negotiation, and then do your option period and your due diligence.
And it's really for a serious buyer or for somebody who's pretty serious about that particular property. Because even though it is $50, $100, you do that on 3, 4, 5 it starts to add up after a while, doesn't it?
Yes. You definitely want to make sure that it's something that you're serious about, something that you can live with. I don't encourage you to go around town writing offers on all these properties with 4 or 5 option periods going at once either. It's still a commitment, but it's just a step in a commitment. I always relate real estate to going to the altar in a marriage ceremony. You take one step, the buyer takes one step, the seller takes one step. The buyer takes one step, the seller takes one step. And then finally, we're going to meet at the altar. We're going to kiss and get married. But
it's an interesting analogy since 30-year commitment. Most marriages don't even last that long these days. That's kind of funny. Yeah, but that's a very interesting topic, and I think it's something that a lot of people they don't understand. And it can certainly shed some light on that for some people. Again, if you want to call in, if you have a question, you want to talk, the local number here is 210-599-5555. Our toll-free number is 800-299-KTSA. We also, Don, are aware that a lot of people out there are a little shy. Maybe they don't want to call in. We do have a Facebook page. If you like, log into Facebook. We're at the San Antonio Real Estate Show, and you can post your questions there, and we'll be more than happy to talk about that as well. Something else I wanted to discuss. A lot of people want to do a for sale by owner and try to save money. And, being in the mortgage industry for 13 years, I've been around a little bit, and of course I know the statistics. People lose money when they do that. They think that they're saving money by doing it, but they're actually more often than not, they're losing money. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes. The reason they typically are losing money is because they name a price and they're not aware of all the advantages you have as a seller, where you can negotiate closing costs and things like that to be paid by the buyer. So, there's some things that are definitely negotiable that the traditional homeowner wouldn't know to ask if they did it for sale by owner. Also, there's some laws in place here in the state of Texas.
People get in trouble.
Yes, and here in the state of Texas, you have to have a seller's disclosure anytime you sell real estate. So that's a form that's promulgated by the Texas Real Estate Commission that says that you must notify anybody of any repairs that you have done to the property or any things that have went wrong with the property. You have to disclose those things. And if
you also have like a lead paint disclosure too, if the house is a certain age.
That's absolutely correct. If the house is older than 1978, you do need a lead-based paint disclosure, disclosing the fact that the house does not have any lead-based paint.
Well, I just wanted to kind of touch on the basics of that. First of all, when people are selling their home by themselves and Tim and Tina drive down the street, the very first thing they do is subtract 6% from the sales price.
Exactly. Everybody thinks, okay, I'm not using a realtor, so I'm going to get a deal. Well, unfortunately, sometimes I can come back to haunt you, because if you buy a house, you take 6% off the sales price, but then you don't get an inspection and find out the pool has a crack in the slab up foundation of the pool, the bottom of the pool, and that's costing you $20,000. Now the same 6% you thought you saved, you're $20,000 in the hole right away. So it's just things that we know to look for to make sure that our buyers are safe, and at the same time, we make it a nice, clean, fair transaction. That's what the San Antonio Board of Realtors is all about, making sure we have a nice, clean, fair transaction on both ends through disclosure and basically just taking care of all parties involved, our fiduciary duties as real estate agents.
So in reality, more often than not, I think I read somewhere that typically sellers who use an agent versus trying to sell it by themselves lose about 10%. I mean, they don't. Just one thing that's clear cut to me in the last 6 months, we've seen tremendous appreciation because the market's been just super hot since January, and property values have come up quite a bit. So most people trying to sell their home, they may not even be asking the right amount.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have other websites out there that kind of misrepresent values. They're great to do research and things like that as far as square footage, school districts, and neighborhoods. But when it comes to property values, you really, really need a realtor. A market value and an appraised value is two totally different things. An appraised value is what the county assessed the property value at, but a market value is what the sales assess the property at. And when it's all said and done, sales matter, but taxes don't.
I've had clients come in, they want to buy another house, they have one, they're talking about selling the current home and then buying another one. And so, well, you really should hire an agent. I mean, they're professionals. They know what they're doing. And I ask them, what are you going to be asking for the house? And they're talking about, the appraised value, from the county, and they can get in trouble. All right. We have our first caller, Eddie. Do you have something you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. I live with my mother. She has a home that's 58 years old, and I'm trying to figure out to do improvements to not spend too much money that takes away from the value of the house if I get ready to sell it. Is there somebody that's in that kind of business that can help you, or any suggestions?
Well, the first thing I would say is, how old is the home? I know you mentioned
it was 58.
I thought you said your mom was 58. I'm sorry. So the house is 58 years old. Okay.
My mother's 95. The house is 58 years old.
Okay. Okay. Now, is it considered historical district, or is it
No, sir. It's actually in Castle Hills.
Okay, Castle Hills, good area. Okay, well then, basically, what you want to do in Castle Hills, I'm very familiar with Castle Hills, is first and foremost, you want to make sure your curb appeal is there. Castle Hills is all about curb appeal. You want nice manicured landscaping. You want to make sure that your gardens are well treated, and you also want to make sure you have some colors, some flowers and things like that. You also want to make sure your foundation is still intact. I do know areas where we have a little bit more settling than others, so you want to make sure that everything's good along with the structure, and then we can add the cosmetic type stuff. What type of cosmetic stuff that you have in mind?
For instance, the roof. It's not in bad shape, but it's going to need to be replaced. I'm thinking about a metal roof.
Okay.
So that's a good investment if it's actually spending more money, taking away from the value of the home.
I think a metal roof is a good investment, especially if you plan on staying there. Now, if you plan on selling, then you really need to put pen to paper. But if you plan on staying there, it's really going to help your utility bill, not only in the summer but in the winter as well. It's a very good, attractive, but at the same time energy efficient improvement.
And it's certainly a selling point, right, Don?
Exactly. But at the same time, anytime you're improving something to sell, you want to make sure that the dollars to return on investment
You'll make
is
sure
there.
You can get your money out of it.
Exactly. And I don't see that. I don't see too many people specifically looking for homes with metal roofs.
And it depends on the area. I mean, if a lot of the houses in that area have a metal roof, and and then it's a good idea. If it's not, if there's not a lot of houses in that area with a metal roof, you could be spending money needlessly.
Unnecessarily. Are there any metal roofs on your street at this time, Eddie?
I'm trying. I haven't really paid that much attention. I see some in the area. Here on this particular street, I don't remember any. No, sir. Okay.
Now, do you have the? I've shown quite a few houses in Castle Hills. Do you have the built-in surround sound and intercom system in your house with the skylights from the roof?
Neither one.
Neither one of those. Okay, those are some good things that Castle Hills is known for. If you could get the built-in intercom with the skylights, where you have plenty of natural light. I've also seen some Satillo tile. I always have a problem pronouncing that tile, but it's kind of the tile you see in the Mexican restaurants. It's SALTILLO tile.
Have you talked to an agent yet, Eddie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, typically agents are also pretty well versed on coming out, taking a look at it, and letting you know what you need to do to update it. Your agent should certainly know that. There's also home stagers who can come in and help you get the house ready for sale. And Don, what's for a home stage?
Yeah, the home staging would definitely be a advantage. But Eddie, are you looking to sell it, or you're just looking to improve it to stay in?
At the moment, I'm not real sure.
Okay.
That's kind of why I have mixed feelings.
Okay.
So I don't know whether I'm trying to improve the older home, for aesthetics, for good things, help my bills, and also in case I do decide to sell it. I'm just not really sure.
Okay. Well, I definitely would love to talk with you more offline about it. It boils down to square footage and price per square foot. When it's all said and done, the same equation always applies, and it's price per square foot.
And another good place to start, Eddie, you might want to just have a home inspector come out. It's going to cost you $200-300, but it's money well spent, and they'll give you an idea of what issues or problems there are, which will kind of give you a little laundry list of some things that you might want to take care of now. Whether you're going to keep the house or sell it, it will certainly help with the value. But I did want to thank you for calling in, Eddie.
One thing is
yeah.
If I give y'all a call, can y'all give me some names or numbers or some suggestions?
Oh, definitely. We have a power team of contractors where we can not only give you one name, but we can give you 3 of each category. So that way you do have a have a great idea on who to work with.
Yeah, you'd probably be the best thing to do for you, Eddie, would be to give Don a call. His number's 210-373-9286. We want to thank you for calling in, Eddie. And we're about to take our first commercials, and we'll be back here in just a minute to talk some more about the San Antonio market.
You're listening to the San Antonio Real Estate Show with Don Davis and Mark Harris.
All right, we're back here with the San Antonio Real Estate Show here with Don Davis and myself, Mark Harris. If you have a question you'd like to call in, our phone number local here is 210-599-5555. Toll-free number, once again, is 800-299-KTSA. Don, let's talk a little bit about Waddell & Reed. We're very grateful for him sponsoring us. And, I've been sending clients to him for years. Betty and Gina over there are absolutely phenomenal. And, everybody should have some type of retirement plan.
Exactly. I mean, it's nothing like knowing why you're working.
Yes.
You need to know why you're working, and you need to know where the finish line is.
I talk to, clients come in all the time, and it breaks my heart to see these people. They're 40, 50 years old. They don't have any type of 401k plan, retirement plan. Maybe their companies don't offer. And people just have questions.
Exactly.
One guy's telling me his retirement plan is he buys a lotto ticket every week. And so, your chances are not that great, No. And, Social Security hopefully will be there, but it's certainly not something that we should depend on.
Exactly. The diversification they teach you at Waddell & Reed is awesome. I mean, I did not realize there were 7 different areas of financial planning where you need to make sure your eggs are not in one basket. For instance, one is, diversification through retirement income, or diversification through planning for your kids' college, diversification through burial. We're all going to die one day, and you need to make sure you have money saved in case you pass away. So death, having a baby. I mean, all types of things happen in life that we need life-changing events that we need to prepare for. And Waddell & Reed is an excellent source for something like that.
They're absolutely fantastic. Gina and Betty are two of the friendliest people I've ever met. They have a very friendly, professional staff. Give them a call. You can sit down with them for an hour. It doesn't cost you a penny. They'll talk to you about your future and what your plans are and get you ready for retirement. Give them a call. Their phone number is 210-382-9430. Again, that's Gina and Betty over there at Waddell & Reed, 210-382-9430. And we're going to talk some more about real estate, Don. Being in the mortgage industry, I mean, it's certainly not like it was 7, 8, 10 years ago when you had all these quasi-weird stated no-doc loans and everything else. We've gotten to the point where it's kind of like chocolate and vanilla.
Exactly.
There's not a whole lot of flavors left.
Which one do you want?
There's conventional, there's government, and really that's about it. And since the government stepped in and bailed out Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, really everything is kind of owned by the government. So a lot of the guidelines are the same now.
Exactly. However, what I do respect about Mid-America Mortgage and Mark, your team over there at Mid-America Mortgage, is no matter what the government does to rearrange guidelines and things like that, you guys are not only able to adjust, but you're able to adjust more efficiently than your traditional mortgage banker.
We try to stay on top of it. It kind of reminds me, and I know what you're talking about is the guidelines changing sometimes on a weekly basis. And kind of what it reminds me of when, on the Peanuts cartoon where Betty's holding the football. And she yanks it out on him. They just keep moving the goalpost on us. They keep changing the guidelines. But, the bottom line is for the most part, there's a couple of different loan types.
Exactly.
And then there's some certain parameters that either you fall into, you don't fall into. The basic loan types are, you have on the government side, you have FHA, which is the Federal Housing Administration loan. And that's a great program. It requires a lower down payment. It also will let the seller pay up to 6% of the purchase price for your closing costs. So a lot of times you can get into that loan with less money out of pocket.
And that's awesome. That really does that really does help somebody who's, say, moving out of an apartment, or really they have money saved up, but they don't have a lot of money saved up, but they know they are serious about buying a home. That 6% closing cost contribution really does come in a factor.
Well, what I've found is that typically there's two things that people are really concerned about when they're buying a house, and that is, how much do I have to pay out of pocket?
Exactly.
And what's my monthly payment? Exactly.
And when the rubber meets the road, like I say, anybody who Don Davis Realty Group, anybody we sell a home to, we make sure that the market analysis of the rental market analysis says will bring in at least $200 a month more than what their mortgage is. And that way it's a good, safe investment, not only on the FHA side, but also on the other loan types as well. Now, on the FHA and VA, we understand that the owners do have to be primary residents in that home for at least a year. However, we do understand that you do not want to go into a situation upside down.
No, they don't. And I just had a loan applicant the other day. We were talking about that very same thing, when about the year.
Exactly.
And really, it's about intent. When you sign the documents, you're saying that you're going to occupy that property as your primary residence. And sometimes things happen.
Exactly.
You don't go into it knowing you're going to be there for a month, or you're not really going to move into it at all, because that's fraud.
Exactly.
But if you're military, you don't know. It's still
orders. You get orders, and
you just don't know, and it's not your fault, and it's never a bad idea to buy a house. And God forbid you do have to move and you want to rent it out. With that market rent analysis, they know that they can rent it and turn a profit. So that, we talked about FHA. It also requires lower. You don't have to have the 720 credit scores.
Uh-huh.
I still this far into the game, people are afraid.
Yes.
And I get people who come in thinking I have to put 20% down. I have to have 800 credit scores, and that's just not the case.
And by the way, you've yet to mention something that's very good about you guys. You guys do offer free credit reports if somebody just wants to find out where they stand right now.
We do. We do a free credit report. We do a free credit report analysis. If a lot of people just don't know. They think that their credit's okay, or maybe they one time had a. I've had buyers call in and they think their credit is terrible because one time back in college they didn't pay off a credit card bill, and it's 10 years later and they've got car payments and stuff like that, and everything's fine. But they just don't know.
Exactly.
This is a very interesting topic, and I think it's something a lot of people want to know more about. If you have a question, give us a call here at 210-599-5555 or toll free at 800-299-KTSA. We are also on Facebook at the San Antonio Real Estate Show. If you have a question, you're a little bit shy and maybe don't want to come on the air and ask the question, log on there and you can do it there. Another very interesting, a great loan type, and I happen to think is one of the best, being prior military myself, is the VA loan.
Exactly.
And that's from the Veterans Administration. It's very black and white. Either you served in the military or you didn't. A lot of people think they'll just go down to the VA office, get that loan. It's probably, you can do that. It's going to take you a long, long, long time to do it. Most lenders do VA loans. We certainly do them. I do more than my fair share, I'd like to hope, because I always want to take care of our servicemen and women.
Exactly.
But it's a great program. And the reason why it's a great program is, unlike almost any other loan, you have no down payment. You have no monthly mortgage insurance premium.
Huge benefit.
You pay a funding fee, but it's actually rolled into the loan.
Yes,
you
exactly.
don't have. I have veterans all the time. They come in, they buy a house, they put $500, $1,000 down for earnest money. They actually get it back at closing.
Exactly. And another thing, as I was mentioning earlier about not going upside down, the VA appraisers are extra conservative to protect the veterans, because they're going to make sure that veteran doesn't buy a house that they cannot that they cannot sell, but at the same time also make sure that it has a termite inspection, also make sure it's not in a flood zone. The VA really does go above and beyond to protect our veterans.
Every realtor I work with demands that the buyer one demands. They always recommend that
exactly.
they
Highly recommend
inspection. Yeah, just for their own protection. It's the best money you'll ever spend. The VA, their appraisers still do a pretty thorough job of looking at that property to make sure that there's not issues with it. Used to do that more on the FHA side too. They no longer do it.
Exactly.
It's kind of left up to the buyer.
Yeah, the VA actually gets out and looks at the property and analyzes it versus some other loans do what we call drive-by appraisal. So they,
right.
or you know, so they.
Or a cursory glance.
Exactly,
right.
Exactly. So that in itself is going above and beyond to really make sure that the client is taken care of.
Yeah, and it is a great program. The seller on this program as well can pay all the closing costs.
Exactly.
They're allowed to pay really here what it is 4% plus the non-allowables.
Exactly.
Which typically covers pretty much everything. What most people also don't know is on all loan types, at least with Mid-American Mortgage, people will skip at least 1 month, possibly 2 of the mortgage payment.
Wow.
Well, if you close, let's say you close on the 15th of the month.
That's true.
Let's say you close the 15th of August. You're going to have no mortgage payment for August, no more mortgage payment for September. Your first payment isn't due until October.
So you mean to tell me, and this is an analysis I always go over with my clients. So you mean to tell me if I look to rent a house, I have to pay first month's rent, say $1,500.
Correct.
And a $1,500 security deposit.
Correct.
And a $55 application fee.
That's right.
Probably about $3,100 to move in now.
And your rent is due the very first month.
First day I move in.
That's right.
But if I turn around
and the owner is going to thank you very much because you're making that mortgage payment.
He's probably on a VA loan himself, and you're paying down his
possibly.
mortgage. Yeah. But if I buy a house, then I turn around and write the contract, $500 earnest money, $100 option money. We close, say 30 to 45 days. Then my first mortgage payment won't be due until 45 days after that. And you're telling me I might get the $500 earnest money back at closing. So you're telling me
it's a distinct possibility if you have a good real estate agent who can negotiate the closing costs for you. And in this type market, it's not always the case. As long as you're realistic, buyers go into the thing just like a seller does.
Exactly.
They don't want to pay too much for the house. So if you negotiate it properly, and don't expect to get the house free. If they're asking $230,000 for the house and you offer $210,000, they're probably not going to want to pay your closing costs.
Exactly.
But if you go in and you're reasonable and you listen to your agent, I hear this more often than not is the buyers are unrealistic and they think they're going to offer this ridiculous price, and get the house. And then they blame their real estate agent when it doesn't happen. Exactly. If you like the house and you want it, be reasonable when you make the offer and you hire a professional. Listen to what they have to say.
And like they say, anything that's good is worth paying for. So typically, if you're going to lowball a house, if you're going to lowball it, know what repairs need to be made. But if the house is in good condition, think of a fair middle ground and go ahead and make an aggressive offer to close within 30 days. And I think the seller will be happy and you will be happy as well.
Absolutely. And both VA and FHA loans, and those are the real government loans, the true government loans. Both of them do require lower FICO scores. Typically the minimum now is about a 640. Some lenders and lending institutions require 660, 680. Then there are some that will actually go under 640 for certain circumstances, depending on what's on the credit. You can go as low as 600. Some places 580 still will do it. But if you have a 580 credit score, you better have not had anything bad in the last 2 years.
Yes.
You better have a ton of money in the bank.
Exactly.
And everything else better be really, really nice.
And at the same time, you guys also are really good at looking at negative items that are not reported accurately on credit reports as well. Sometimes people do have a 580, but somebody's inaccurately reporting. You could have a Bally's Total Fitness card that was on there 3 times and come to find out you've never been to Bally's in your life. So
anything is possible. Yeah, we certainly look at everything. We're not in the credit repair business, but having done
so many loans,
thousands of mortgages in my life, it's something that I had to, by necessity, kind of learn and get the picture of. And so we always try and help people. Obviously our job is to make a mortgage.
Exactly.
If we can help make a mortgage, then, everybody leaves happily. If we can't do that because of credit, we want to try and set them up so that 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road, they'll be hopefully ready to go.
Yeah. And another thing I want to bring up also is people think if they've had bad issues in the past that they're done for good. I've recently had a client who had a short sale 2 years ago in Florida, and now they were able to purchase again using their VA loan again. So It's basically just knowing what you need to do to get things back on track, and then you can go from there. We also have short sales available for sales. People who are ready to buy and want to walk in with some equity. A short sale is a great opportunity where the seller's mortgage company has agreed to take 80% of what's owed, and sometimes it's a little bit less. But we really do have a few of those that are really beneficial. As a matter of fact, I have one in Emerald Forest, which is right off of Bulverde in 1604. It's at 18210 Open Forest. It's going for $349,000, and that gives you an opportunity to walk in with about $50,000 worth of equity.
Yeah,
So,
you can buy a house on a VA loan. 2 years after a short sale. Short sales in the mortgage industry now are looked at like foreclosures, but it's a really good opportunity for people to get out, not owe a ton of money, and when they're in just an upside down situation.
Exactly.
And it's much better than a foreclosure. We would hope that one day soon the government will not penalize those people doing short sales, doing the right thing, and still making them wait, just a god awful long time to buy a house. Historically, for VA loans, 2 years after a foreclosure or short sale, as long as you have a really good reason. FHA's 3 years. Conventional can be 4 or 5 years, and it just goes up from there. We've spoken about both FHA and VA. There's a couple others we'll talk about when we come back after this short break. You are listening to the San Antonio Real Estate Show here on 550 KTSA.
The San Antonio Real Estate Show with Don Davis and Mark Harris continues now.
All right, and we're back here with Don Davis and me, Mark Harris, at the San Antonio Real Estate Show. Again, if you have a question, give us a call here at 210-599-5555. Our toll-free number is 800-299-KTSA. You can ask us a question on Facebook at the San Antonio Real Estate Show. I was actually just talking to Don about investment properties. Mid-America Mortgage is one of the few companies where we will actually still allow you to have up to 10 properties, Don. Most of them, it's 4.
That's awesome. That's hard to find nowadays. Anytime you can get a cash flow income-producing property, it really does make you a significant return on your money.
More people have made mistake in real estate by mistake, more money by mistake in real estate than they have in pretty much anything. And speaking of which, we actually have a couple of seminars that you can come and attend. Me and Don will be putting them on. Don, you have some dates for us?
Yes, as a matter of fact, our first one is going to be August 27th at the Tri-Point Center off of North St. Mary's. For details on all of our seminars, you can go to the DonDavisRealtyGroup.com website and go under the seminars tab, and it'll kind of give you our calendar. So if you actually want to come in and meet Mark and myself in person and sit down through one of our seminars, I think you would find it definitely worth it. We don't charge you anything to come to our seminars. We just ask that you do what you're there for.
Yeah, it's absolutely free of charge. We'll talk more in depth about first-time home buyers, and in this specific seminar, it's about investment properties. It's going to be a wealth of information. Come on down. You'll really like it. By the way, we've been talking about mortgages, and if you need to apply for a mortgage, you give us a call. Our phone number at Mid-America Mortgage is 210-692-7500. That's 692-7500.
And I forgot, we have one more seminar I totally forgot to mention, Mark. Okay. Next Wednesday, August 20th at Lackland Air Force Base in the chapel, we will be sharing more information on the VA loans that we were talking about earlier. We have been asked to come out and share more information on the VA loans there. So we do have a busy schedule ahead. I forgot to inform you before the show, but we definitely are booked from now till October.
Well, like I said, I'm very happy to help our servicemen and women. I feel like they're my brothers and sisters, and I always want to help them get into a home and get a good mortgage. So let's talk some more about the different loan types. The next one we should discuss is a quasi-government loan. It came on real big 3, 4, 5 years ago after FHA did away with the down payment assistance program, and that's USDA.
Okay.
Most people don't understand that stands for the United States Department of Agriculture, and no, people, that doesn't mean that you have to buy a farm.
Well, I always get the joke. Does that mean I have to get a stake with my property?
No, you don't. You know what it is? There's a couple of catches for that mortgage, but it's very attractive. I call it's almost like a VA loan for civilians.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you why I say that. It does have a funding fee attached to it, just like a VA and an FHA loan has. It only requires a 640 credit score like the VA and FHA, not the higher scores that conventional products typically require. And there's zero down like a VA loan.
Exactly.
And there's the mortgage insurance. There is a monthly mortgage insurance premium, but it's only 0.4% versus 1.35 on an FHA.
Now that's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple more hoops to jump in through that loan than there is for FHA, but typically people are going to save quite a bit of money every month. And it's not the no down payment. It's that monthly mortgage insurance premium. That can save people $100, $200 a month, depending on what they're buying.
And that really does come into factor. What I like most about that loan, it's kind of structured to develop certain areas.
Yes.
So usually it's going to get you a newer area with great schools and things like that. They're trying to push the growth to certain areas, so we're not overpopulated in certain areas.
There are two very specific things that you need to meet in order to be able to take advantage of a USDA loan. One is geographical location. You have to be. It's typically, if you're outside 1604, there's a couple of little spots like out Highway 90 where you can be inside and down by like Calaveras Lake.
Exactly.
But for the most part, yeah, it's for growing the area. The other one is income. I think the loan limit, the income limit right now is about $74,000, and it does vary by the county as well.
Exactly.
So, and they look at the entire household.
Well, another thing, like I say, real estate, I played football. My background is football, and I look at my buyers as offense, my sellers as defense.
Right.
Well, as a seller, if you are in a USDA approved area, and the USDA is willing to give the buyer 102% of financing.
Yeah.
Do you realize how much easier it is to sell your home to a first-time home buyer if you're in a qualifying area?
Well, not even just first-time home buyers. There's people out there who have money, but they don't want to put a bunch of it down when they buy a house. And again, the no down payment, while that is important and very attractive to certain people, if I can save $100, $200 a month, that's huge.
It's a little skin in the game, as we call it.
Very interesting conversation we're having here. We actually do have another caller. Let's talk to Lou.
Yes, sir. It's about if you can explain to me about what reverse mortgage means. How does it work?
Reverse mortgage, I don't actually do them. This is Mark Harris, Mid-America Mortgage. I don't do reverse mortgages, but it's a product that I strongly believe in. I think it's great for the right person. You have to be, it's either 61 or 62 years old.
I'm 62 and
okay.
my house is paid off.
Okay, then this product is exactly for someone just like you.
It's a good idea to do that thing?
What I would recommend that you do is sit down with somebody and talk about it. There are a lot of experts in it. I know there's Helen Bernatech does a show on Saturday, and she kind of specializes in it. But
she does.
Yeah, yes. It's a great program because you don't qualify income-wise, you don't qualify credit-wise. They do an appraisal. They'll take that and average what a person lives like for now, if you're going to live another 30, 40 years. And they'll take that, and you can either take lump sum payment, one-time payment. You can take monthly payments guaranteed for life, or a combination of the two. And the whole idea is that the property is going to continue to appreciate. When you do, God forbid, finally pass, your kids are going to take over that house, and or whatever's going to happen with it. They can sell it, pocket the proceeds of the difference between what was owed on the mortgage, or they can just take it over and start a new mortgage. But it's a great program for folks who are a little bit older, trying to survive on Social Security.
I'm semi-retired. I'm still working part-time.
Okay.
And it's like taking a new mortgage, right?
It is taking a mortgage. It's governed by the government. It's an FHA loan. And what it does is you work all your life to buy a house and take care of that house, and you pay on that house. The idea is that when you retire, let the house maybe pay you a little bit. Again, I don't do those mortgages, but I'm a firm believer in it. I can't wait till I turn 61, 62, so I can get that myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, you should talk to your financial advisor or a tax person, but I also don't think it goes against you for your Social Security benefits.
Yeah, because people are talking bad about the reverse mortgage. It's pretty bad. Well,
the thing is anybody that if you don't understand it,
no,
then you're gonna talk bad about it. Is it right for everybody? No. I am a disinterested third party. I have nothing to gain whether you or anybody does a reverse mortgage. I believe in it firmly. I've seen it help people tremendously. I did one in my career. This was about 10, 11 years ago when they first got popular. And it was for a couple who'd lived in their house all their lives. She was like 65. He was 72. Their son needed an operation. They were going to have to sell their home, move into an apartment. Instead, they were able to do this mortgage, stay in their house. They not only got the money for that operation, it was going to give them $300-400 a month for the rest of their lives. So I can see the tremendous good that it does. Normally, in my opinion, Lou, most people have a problem with it when it's the kid of somebody who's trying to do it, and they have a problem with their mom or dad spending their inheritance. But that's just my opinion, not this station's, not Don's, and not Mid-America's. But in my opinion, it's a great program, and I think what you should do is sit down and talk to an expert.
So you think that the Helen they would happy?
Yeah, I think you should talk to Helen. Helen is an expert at it. I'm not. Thanks for calling, Lou. Did you have any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, Lou. Yeah, Don, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I also wanted to just give a few more statistics as far as the improvement of our market and in regards to foreclosures. We only had 18 foreclosures go on the courthouse steps last first Tuesday. I don't know if everybody's aware, but the first Tuesday of every month is when the auction is at the Bexar County Courthouse. And we only had 18 foreclosures. The total loan amount of those foreclosures right at $50 million. Total assessment was about $42 million. So we lost about $8 million in equity. And what that means to the bank, that hurts the banks, but it actually helps our local investors. And that's why the loans require 20% down and things like that now, because it's basically a transfer of the equity.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities out there for somebody who wants to buy a house, somebody who wants to do investment. They start with you and I. Give us a call. We can get you pre-qualified for it. Don can help you find some houses.
And then you also mentioned the move up, move down program, where people need to downsize, or where people need to buy a bigger home as well. Right. So either no matter what area you're interested in doing, we have you covered. And that's why we titled our show the San Antonio Real Estate Show. Whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, whether it's investment, we have you covered.
We have you covered. We have the answers, or we can point you in the right direction. Certainly.
Exactly.
Like the last gentleman, I don't do the reverse mortgages, but I do know a little bit something about them. Which brings us to the last loan type I wanted to talk about real briefly, and that's conventional loans, Don.
Okay, the conventional loan.
Conventional loans typically require more money down.
Exactly.
They also, you know what? We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back here at KTSA 550.
I wish I was.
You're listening to the San Antonio Real Estate Show with Don Davis and Mark Harris.
All right, and we're back here at 550 KTSA. It's the San Antonio Real Estate Show with Don Davis and Mark Harris. We don't have a lot of time left. It just seems like this hour just flashes by, Don. But I wanted to just briefly talk about one of our other sponsors, and that is Womack Chevrolet. Our good friends out there, we both have bought vehicles out there.
Yes.
They've taken great care of us, and you want to go out and take a look at some new and used vehicles. There's John, the owner, and LJ's the sales manager. Virginia was both of our sales gals. Uh-huh. Absolutely fantastic people. I talked last week about how they just take an awesome care of my family, and just friendly and accommodating, and no pressure.
No pressure at all.
When you need something, you want to just talk to people who are friendly and they get it.
Exactly. I think being in sales, you and I both being in sales, we don't want to be sold. We've already done our research. We're here to buy a car. Just kind of listen to us and meet our needs. And I think that's one of the great benefits as sales counselor to sales counselor, salesman to salesman, and it's just basically respect my profession. I'll respect yours. I know you're the best when it comes to cars. You know we're the best when it comes to loans and houses. Let's see if we can meet halfway.
My niece needs a car. She's got a new baby, and I'm going to take her out there, and I know they won't try to shove something down her throat. They're going to put her in something that's safe, and I can feel comfortable when she drives off, and I'm very excited about that. The good people out there at Womack Chevrolet, if you need to buy a car, just want to take a look, give them a call. Their phone number is 830-538-9688. Our other sponsors, Gina and Betty over at Waddell and Reed. Let me give that number again. It's 210-382-9430. Before we wrap up, to touch just for a second on the other loan type, that's the conventional loans.
Exactly.
Does typically require a higher credit score, 680 minimum. They'd like to have a 720. You can get lower as long as you're putting 20% down, but it's a 5% minimum. And they're more strict on the guidelines. They're going to look, I mean, you cannot have a bunch of you can't have really hardly anything negative these days.
Exactly. And that's a better safe than sorry type situation. I understand as the bank is the investor, they do need to make sure they're making a good solid investment when they do lend you the money. However, that's also our job as real estate agents at RE/MAX Corridor. We make sure that the property that we're asking for the loan, is definitely worth the bank lending for that particular property. So it's an asset, not a liability to the bank if anything were ever to go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You need to put more money down. The seller cannot pay as much in closing costs. You typically have to have more in assets. They want to see that you have money to make payments.
Exactly.
For a period of time, just in case something happens.
Yeah. Basically, you do need to have a cushion, and that makes everybody more comfortable. Whether it's a small business loan or anything else, everybody wants to make sure you have some type of injection or a cushion to where if we all have rainy days. So if you have a rainy day, they want to make sure that you will still be able to maintain that loan.
Before we wrap up the show here, Don, was there anything else that you wanted to add? I know we have a couple minutes left.
Well, I just wanted to kind of brag on the South Shirts development project that they have going between FM 78 and I-10 West, where they're finally bringing some really, 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 really nice homes to South Shirts. Price ranges are ranging from $300,000 to $400,000, and it's considered Guadalupe County. So you get low taxes, you get the lower tax rate. So you get what that translates to you as a listener. You get more house for your money. So if you want to take a look out there this week, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm at 210-373-9286. Mark will get you pre-approved, and then we can hop in the brand new Chevrolet that I bought at Womack, and we can go look at some nice real estate.
Absolutely. Save some money. You can take that money over to Waddell and Reed, the good people over there, Gina and Betty, and they can show you where to put that to save for a rainy day. We're about out of time here. I wanted to give those numbers one more time. Don is at 210-373-9286. Mid-America, you can reach us at 210-692-7500. Get pre-qualified to buy a house. We also do the refinances still, Don. This hour again has just flown by, and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. However, even though we're going to stop talking about real estate on the air right now, and you and I will continue to talk the business. We love the business. We love what we do, and we want you to be a part of what we do. And, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. News Talk 550 KTSA, 5 p.m. next Sunday, the San Antonio Real Estate Show.
See you then.
Music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping home, where my music